I'm Logan Webb, and you're listening to TortureCast.
Swinging. There's a high drive. Deep into left center field. It's on its way. Adios! Pelota!
Let's go Giants! SF Giants! Let's go Giants! SF Giants!
A grand slam for Buster Posey's good friend.
A podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Chad King, Eric Nathanson, and Willie Dills. This is the TortureCast.
It's Thursday, May 28th, 2026, and this is episode 339 of the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. I'm your host, Chad King, and joining me today, a couple of guys who know a little bit of Giants history. We were just talking about, thinking about trivia games and all that stuff, and, maybe we'll do that in the future, but joined here by Eric Nathanson first. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well because the Giants have the day off and I don't have to watch them. And today is the 75th anniversary of Willie Mays' first career home run off of Warren Spahn to end his 0 for 12 to start his career. So I'm looking at the bright side of things today. I don't have to watch this, and I just called them this. I'm going to say it right away. I don't have to watch this shit-ass team today, and I can think about good memories for Willie. So today is a good day. But as we get going, that might change.
Dude, at the end of May was his first friggin' hit? That's crazy.
Yeah, he got called up.
Oh, he was called up, though, right?
Yeah, he got called up like the 21st and then went 0 for 12 and then hit one out of the Polo Grounds off of Warren Spahn for his first Major League homer.
Dang, man. 1 for 13. I can only hope to be that good. So, hey, would you retire after going 1 for 13 with a home run? I would.
Warren Spahn.
You got your hit, your home run, your RBI, and your run. You're done. That's all you need.
Right. I was watching the White Sox game earlier. They ended up talking about Willie for a half inning because this is the anniversary of that. And honestly, that's the only reason I remember that. They brought it up. I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay. So Willie, I'm trying to put the positive vibes out there, man. How you doing?
Well, I like you, I think, have kind of given up on watching baseball. We were talking about this before the show. You didn't mention this already. Given up watching baseball in its entirety for the moment. I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to just have a terrible 3 hours out of every single day. So I'm a highlights guy right now. And then if something good happens, then I'll go back and I'll kind of do like the condensed game thing. But it got to a point where I think all of us were texting too much about how much this team is just ass. I'm looking around at the rest of baseball, and we're like one of the worst. In fact, if it wasn't for the Rockies being in our division, I think we would be the worst team in baseball right now. And that is not a comfortable feeling as a Giants fan. Not a familiar feeling either. So it's been a tough season.
Yeah, it's been hard, guys. 2017 was bad, and we'll get into these stats here in a minute because, it's always good. There's 140 years of Giants baseball, right? So there's a lot of seasons to compare this against. So it's not like, sometimes when you have a bad week, you go, well, every team has a bad week. Some teams have a bad year. Oh, it was in the bottom third of 140 years. We're approaching historical territory for futility. I mean, it's been really bad. And we had a little bit of, I guess some semblance of, positivity against the White Sox. They took 2 out of 3. Casey Schmidt, of course, has been hot. There's all these little things that you can look at. But overall, the team sucks. I mean, the team just sucks right now. They were just swept by Arizona again. They were swept in Arizona. They've lost 6 in a row this year. But, as I was talking to Eric before the show to confirm it, because, I went down to Arizona to watch 2 of those 3 games with Eric against Arizona, and they lost all 3 of those games. So they've lost 9 in a row against Arizona. They are now 22-34, a season high, 12 games under 500, 14 games back in the West, 8 in the wild card. And for those of you thinking, oh, we're only 8 back, we can make it back, no big deal. Well, it's the second worst record in the NL. thanks to the Colorado Rockies. Third worst in Major League Baseball. The Angels are a little bit worse. But it's not really, I mean, I don't know what to point to, guys. The 1902 New York Giants have the worst record in as far as winning percentage in franchise history, right? With 353. But after 56 games, which they're at right now, that's there's only two teams that are worse than the current squad. 1902 New York Giants were 20-33 with 3 ties, by the way. They had some ties back then. The 1985 Giants, the only team to lose 100 games, was only 1 game worse. Only 1 game worse than we are right now, 21-35. And the 1976 San Francisco Giants were exactly where the 2026 Giants are right now at 22-34. They finished at 74-88. The 1902 Giants, by the way, finished with the worst winning percentage in franchise history at 48-88. 40 games under 500 at 353 winning percentage. My point is, we're more than a third of the way into the season. I don't think we're at the point now where we can say, oh, it's just a bad week. It's just a bad 2 weeks. It's just a bad month. This is a third of the season. Nothing has gotten better. In fact, things have gotten worse. So we are on a historical track, if you look at those trends from those previous teams, of absolutely finishing under 500. But, I mean, if this team doesn't turn it around to a certain extent, this could be a 100-loss team. I don't really know how else to put it. I mean, it's, we want to be here to bring positive vibes to, the Giants sphere, but I don't know if that's going to happen considering we're the second or third worst record in 140 years.
I don't think positive vibes is what this team needs right now. I think this team, a lot of people are like, tear it all down, start over, start from a trash heap. And I do agree with them to a certain extent. I just don't think that people are really ready for what that really means. Yeah. And also, I don't know if people understand that that's not just some button you push. Like, okay, we've decided to eject, tear it all down now. Someone come get this Matt Chapman contract, please. Like, that's not, other teams are not just like lining up to grab massive contracts for players who are underperforming them. Sure, a team might go, okay, we have a glaring hole here at shortstop, and maybe Adames fits that hole. But it's not like we're just going to get their top prospects back. You know what I mean? That's not how this works. And I think a lot of people think, oh, we're just going to stuff the farm system with a whole bunch of number 1 draft picks for all these high-priced guys that we have. No, these guys, we don't want them. Why do we think other people want them now? So it's really not as simple as all that. So I think you have to be strategic about this if that is the way that we go. And I think that is the way that it feels like we're kind of headed. I mean, the Bailey trade was like, okay, this just isn't working anymore. And by the way, Bailey's good enough to be a catcher on a first place team. I don't know why people think he was the ultimate problem, right? Obviously, it didn't fix everything. But he's not a starting catcher on that team, by the way. But anyway,
no,
my point is that this, I think, is leading to a 100-loss season because of the fact that we're going to offload. And it might not be the guys that everybody wants. We might go around and go, hey, anybody got interest in a Gold Glove third baseman who can't hit anymore? And people might say no. And then we start going, okay, well, what about an ace pitcher? And then all of a sudden it's Logan Webb who's gone. Do you know what I mean? And then the people are going to be real sad. So it's buckle up, everybody. I don't think we've seen the bottom of this season yet. I'm sorry.
We haven't. And now we have to see what Buster's going to do about it. Like, he, in truth, built a lot of this team. So like you said, is he going to be willing to pull the trigger on the, quote, superstar homegrown guy like Logan Webb, who's also struggling this year, but will be back tomorrow? Or is, can he pick and choose and get rid of Adames, get rid of Chapman? I mean, Chapman's got a full no trade, so that's going to be tough. Willie might have similar, too. I mean, the guy signed a huge contract.
I think he does.
Yeah. And because we kind of hinted at this, we're talking about Casey Schmidt and how he needs to find a role to play every day, and they've managed to find him a role to play every day. But, like, there are a lot of holes that we pointed to before the season started, and, like, pitching depth is just not there. Their starters have honestly been horrible. The relievers aren't bad, but the starters are not putting them in a great position to succeed. So the failures seem to be more frequent. And so it's time for Buster to show his chops. and decide if this is what he wants to do, this job. Because I mean, so many ways the end of this season could go. Buster could decide, I don't want to do this crap anymore. He doesn't want to go down with the sinking ship. I'm sure ownership loves it. He's the face of it, not them. But the only way to make changes is to make changes. And you just don't take away Arise is a trade candidate, and I get it. But that 2-3-4 of Arise, Schmidt, and Devers, that's a really good 2-3-4 in the order. Like, they should be winning more games with these kind of guys in the order, and they're just not doing that. And you mentioned it, it's so tough to watch. I can't get the Arizona games on television here. For some reason, my cable provider is the one cable provider in Arizona that dropped the channel. So I have to stream these games on a pirate site. And for the last 2 weeks, every time they played the Diamondbacks, I would make kind of a half-hearted effort to find the stream. And then if the stream wasn't working, I'd just be like, whatever, screw it. I'll just keep updated on it. Because this team is not worth watching right now. They are not worth watching. They're not worth spending your money on. No. They are not worth investing extra time in. So, summer is here. Enjoy your summer.
Sure. I will point something out, though. Somebody posted on the subreddit historically bad starts in the past and where we stacked up against them. One of those years was 2008. And I don't know if you guys remember what happened 2 years later. But bad teams don't have to stay bad forever. Do you know what I mean? So the point, I'm trying, like the White Sox right now are above 500, and like 2 years ago they were like the worst team ever. So really, we just have to be looking at, like, right now this team this season feels lost. Now it's time to punch through that wall, and let's start looking at improvement. And a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, we need to get back to at least contending, because in this division, if we just kind of stand pat forever and ever and ever, we are just third and fourth place forever and ever and ever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's time to figure out the moves that make that possible. 2 years from now, can we be back?
I thought this year was going to be 2009 to 2010. Turns out you're right. This might just be 2008. Chad, let me ask you. Is it Buster? Is it Tony? Is it the way everything has just come together? Is it Hector Borg? I mean, what is it that is killing this team?
I wish there was one name you could just throw out there, but I just don't think that's the case. I think this is the collective effort. Just a lot of pieces that don't fit together in the right ways for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think that, I thought this team on paper was slightly better than last year, and they were just under 500 or just at 500. So this is kind of surprising. I wouldn't say shocking, but it's surprising, and it's extended into now being more than 1/3 of the year. So I don't think there can be an expectation of, like, everyone thought, including myself, halfway through this 56 games, like, well, okay, they've every season is a roller coaster. They've just hit the dip early. It'll come back. They'll regress to the mean, as they say. I don't think the mean is as high as I thought it was. I think that mean is definitely low. I mean, this team is heading towards 95 to 100 losses unless something drastically changes. So it's hard to say that it's Buster Posey's, quote, fault, because, he built the majority of last year's team, which was 500. And I thought on paper this year's team was going to be better. But at the same time, you look, back when we were talking in spring training, and although the offense looked on paper to be better, pitching was definitely a question mark. And although offensively, I'd say they're underperforming more than pitching, the pitching is still worse than I thought it was going to be. And it's definitely slacked the last 2-3 weeks or whatever, despite the fact that they're third worst team in the major leagues. Their hitting has actually gotten better over that time, but at the same time, their pitching's gotten worse. So their pitching is regressing to a certain extent. And I don't know if that's merely a fact that they don't have a closer. That certainly has some, something to do with it in terms of blown saves. But I think just the back end of the bullpen with Vitello's decisions just have not worked out. I mean, and I don't know if I was sitting on the bench, I could do any better. But he just seems to be making some odd choices lately. And then they're, base running, of course, despite being last in the league at stolen bases by 1 billion stolen bases. The fact that Hector Borg, he just lost his grandmother, by the way, so he was out, from the team, and we found Ron Wotus on the, in the box there for a few games. But the fact that, let's just go to the last game in Arizona, or at Arizona, facing Arizona. You know, you had Willie Adames who got a blue double, and he's on second, and then you get Willie Adames who gets Luis Arias who gets a single. He sends him home, and when you look at the replay, when I was watching that, I was like, why are you sending him? And he was thrown out by obviously a mile, and then Arias himself is picked off second right after that. And they were only down by, 1 or 2 runs at the time. And it seems like that, where you're dealing with small margins of error. Those are the things that are magnified at the end of games, because if you just take 1 out of 3 versus Arizona, you're like, well, that sucks. It just doesn't feel as bad. But when you're swept 9 games in a row against a particular team, you're making errors. You know, Willie Adames airmailing it. By the way, he's like last in defensive runs saved in the shortstop position. He's just not doing well. And then you have these baseline running blunders by either Adames himself, who forgot how many outs there were about a week ago, to Hector Borg sending him when everyone was like, what the hell are you doing, to Arias, who, by the way, is third in the NL in batting average. He's doing great this year, but he's making, mistakes, getting picked off a second. It's hard to say those individual mistakes are, to be pinned on Buster Posey or, Tony Vitello. It just seems to be such a confluence of everyone crap in the bed right now. It's really frustrating.
Well, it's players pressing, right? Mistakes like that are trying to be over aggressive because you're trying desperately to win a ball game. You know what I mean? Like these things are easily explained, in my opinion, by a team is bad. They're like, okay, we got to try to do everything we can to freaking win this game. And that means taking some risks, because let's say we don't send that guy, and then guess what happens? Our team that can't hit with runners on scoring position, that doesn't hit with runners in scoring position. These are the types of things that end up happening. So I think, it's like we can look at those specific cases and we go, oh, man, that guy screwed up right there. But I think what we have to look at is this is why it seems like everybody is screwing up, because we're trying. We're trying to get out of it. You know what I mean? This is like when you look at a guy like Hunter Bader, or Hunter Bader. When you look at a guy like Bader, who hit 2 grand slams, right, in a week. He's been terrible all season, right? And then he's just now trying to lift and separate on every single at bat because he wants to get out of it. He wants to get a hard hit ball. And then it just compounds itself, and then you just keep sucking. And you look at like Devers, who swings out of his shoes on every single at bat. Every now and then he catches when it goes hard, but then he strikes out 60% of the time he comes up. Right? These are the things that people, when you're playing good, it's like everybody's in a relaxed state, letting the game come to them. And right now the Giants are reaching, hustling their asses off a lot of the times, or just completely like heads out of in the clouds, like Adames was recently when he got picked off, because he's like yammering with the shortstop on the other
Betts.
team. Yeah, these are the things that happen. It's collective. It's not just one guy sucks and this guy sucks and get rid of this guy. This is a team-wide effort.
Right? I agree with your premise, but I do think it's fair to question Hector Borg. His only third base coaching experience before this season was 1 winter in the Dominican. Granted, he's been around baseball and been a baseball coach for 30 years. But I just read about the whole story about how, Vitello wanted him on his staff after just 1 meeting. He's like, oh, this is my kind of guy. And apparently he's been attached at the hip to Ron Washington, Borg has. So he's learning from a third base coach who won a World Series in 2021 in Ron Washington. But, I mean, we saw Chapman run through a stop sign earlier this year and score. Mm-hmm. There have been questionable sends. Chad's example, I was so glad, Chad, when I opened the notes and I saw that example from yesterday, because I was listening to the game when it all happened. And the way John Miller described, Arias has a bloop hit to left. And I immediately thought, awesome, first and third with Casey Schmidt coming up. And then he's like, and Borg said Adames. And immediately I'm like, oh, crap, he's out. Because we have that clock in our head. You know what I mean? We know how long a play should take as it's going. And I knew he was going to be out before he was even thrown out. And I was only listening to the game. Mm. And it's kind of sad that that's how predictably bad Borg has been in this role. It's Ron Wotus. They won 2 out of 3 against the White Sox. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, we talked about this
I think
on
Borg
the show.
Is fair to question. Yeah,
we talked about this on the show last year, I think, with Matt Williams. Right? It's why are we putting third base coaches who are not base runners there? What are we doing? Like, we should have guys who are known for their base running ability. be third base coaches. I know there's other parts of the job. I know you have to like relay signs and all that crap. But you can teach that to a good base runner. Someone with instincts who proved that when they played in the past. That should be the guy who's at third base. Put your baseball mind on the bench with you, right? Like what the we don't need a baseball mind at third base. We need a guy who can make a call in a moment and know, okay, this guy is this fast and this outfielder has this strong of an arm and this is the timing. That's what we need. And you don't get that without having done it, in my opinion. So it's just very strange to me that you've got these guys like Matt Williams. Why was he there? You know what I mean? Historically slow Matt Williams. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And I'm sure Borg is a great guy and a baseball lifer, but to put him in the second most decision-making role on the team just seems like a bit of a jump. I mean, I don't know who the answer is.
Just put him somewhere else, man.
Right. I totally agree. I mean, that's what they've done with others in the past. But overall on the other guys, I agree. You know, sometimes guys are pressing, although Devers just appears to be what he is, I think, at this point. Yeah. And Schmidt has just, I mean, he's the guy seems like he is street proof right now. Like he cannot get into a funk. Even when it seems like he might be going into a funk, he took a day off and then bam, he was right back there squaring the ball up lately. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I do agree that the fact that a bunch of them are taking a crap on offense. Matt Chapman's barrel percentage is 19%. It is the bottom. No, it's 4.7. It's the bottom 19% of the league. He's hit the sweet spot 1% of the time, squared it up 2% of the time. And his bat speed is still in the 92nd percentile. No, like, how is that even possible?
Well, so what's weird about this stuff, too, is these guys, every time it looks like they're pulling it together and they're getting back to what they normally should be doing, it lasts like 2-3 days, right? And then they're right back to this ridiculousness of just popping up, striking out. And that's what's frustrating. It's not just that they're not getting hits. It's the outs are pathetic. You know, like they are just there's like it's not a ground ball up the middle that the guy actually got to because it didn't have a lot of speed on it. It is just a pop-up, a can of corn.
Pop-up to the first baseman, that is no big deal.
And it's like Chad, they're not even it's not challenging the defense at all. It's like there's just nothing going on.
Yeah. It's like you're waving the white flag every time. You know, we were talking earlier, and so you got me thinking as you're running through all those stats about how bad they are. The longest win streak they've had this season is 3 games. Yeah. And so when you say they had these glimpses, they literally have had 3 different glimpses of 3-game winning streaks, and that's it.
Well, that's the we're at this point as fans, we're so beaten down by how bad this team is that when we win against the White Sox one time, which by the way, I was supposed to go to that game, and then I was like, you know what? I don't think I could take the pain. And then, of course, we scored 10 runs.
Don't give them your money.
Of course, that's the game. I mean, after I saw the 9-3 loss the night before, I was like, nah, you know what? I think I'm just going to enjoy my Saturday. And then, of course, they score 10. But, you know, like, we're so beaten down that game was like, oh, my God, here it is. That's it. We're turning it around now. And I feel like I've said that a million times. And then the next game, just another pathetic loss. The 3-2 with a runner getting picked off and, you know, all that stuff. So it just feels bad. And here's the other thing, too. When I was talking at the beginning of the show about, I don't know if the fans are really prepared for what it looks like when you tear it all down. It is guys like Casey Schmidt that other teams are going to want. Do you know what I mean? And I know we're like, no, not that guy. But that's the guy that they're going to call about. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not going to call for the third baseman whose barrel percentage is what Eric just described. They're going to call for the upstart young guy with 12 home runs out of nowhere who looks like he can play anywhere on the field. That's who the teams are going to call for. So those are the decisions that might end up getting made. Just saying, everybody.
No, it's beyond frustrating. I didn't think we would be heading down this path this year. I really didn't. The offense, you know, has just sputtered. They were 154 with runners in scoring position against Arizona. I don't know what it is about Arizona. The Giants are 4-3 against the Dodgers this year, but 0-6 against Arizona. It makes no sense. And you know, it's funny how like I would never expect the Giants to be 6-0 against Arizona, but I'm just going to go ahead and play the devil's advocate. You know, they're 12 games under 500 right now, right? If the Giants were the ones who were 6-0 against Arizona, the Giants would be exactly 500 right now. That's kind of the difference that you're talking about. I don't know why. I don't think Arizona. I mean, Arizona's clearly better than the Giants, but they're not better to the tune of 6-0 against them. They just can't seem to do anything against them. And then you get, Rafael Devers, who's been struggling, Matt Chapman, who's been struggling. I mean, the whole team has been struggling. Willie Adames, Bryce Eldridge, who doesn't have a role on this team, seems to be floating as a rover, basically. I mean, he's not doing too well. He's 170 in 47 at bats. He's had a home run basically robbed by the park. Rafael Devers had a home run robbed by the park. It's these little things that just seem to add up. The Giants just are snake bitten by not just being a bad team, but then on top of that, it's exacerbated by these little instances where if you had a ball carry in a different park, maybe, the outcome would be a little bit different. But there's been a little bit of, kerfuffle, if you will. Some people are talking about, a desire to bring in Triples Alley. I myself don't want to see that, because I think that whatever decisions you make in terms of adjusting the ballpark's dimensions are going to benefit both teams just the same, right? So I don't think it's going to adjust the winning percentage at all. It could increase offense for sure, but it's going to increase offense for both teams. I myself don't want to see Triples Alley getting brought in, and I don't think that's going to benefit the Giants. But what do you guys think about, stupid things like that? I think when a team gets really bad, like the Giants are right now, this is where the media and the fans go to. Yeah. And it's like, how do we fix this? Let's not rebuild the team. Let's change the ballpark dimensions. That'll fix everything.
I will
it just
say,
seems to me ridiculous.
I will say that Devers and Arise have to be a little frustrated that some of those balls they've hit out there are not home runs.
Yeah.
And that is the only benefit I can see, is that maybe baseball players are more willing to come to San Francisco. Maybe there are definitely guys who are like, look, I'm not going to hit 30 home runs over there. Do you know? You know what I mean? So I'm just going to go ahead and stay over here in Boston, which, by the way, Boston has a pretty deep right center field fence as well. But, but like there is that. However, like you said, that doesn't necessarily suddenly mean, we're just going to give up more runs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. These are not the answers we were looking for.
No, the interesting part, I'm with you. There's no need to even change the ballpark. The interesting little thing that's happening this year, though, is Casey Schmidt is showing right-handed hitters that they can hit home runs at Oracle. 7 of his 12 home runs are at home. And we talk about how right-handed hitters don't want to come here because, you've got that huge Triples Alley because right center field is a place some right-handed guys drive it. And we don't really get that. But he's hitting them the way, like, Andres Galarraga would hit them to left field. Even Harrison Bader is showing a little bit how a right-handed bat can hit home runs. We had it back in the day with, like, a Jeff Kent, Galarraga again. Buster to an extent.
Rich Aurelia hit a lot on
Rich Aurelia is a good one. Yeah, he had good pop. And they just, so I find it interesting that in a year full of Casey Schmidt is kind of showing like, hey, if you are a free agent right-handed hitter, the Giants may be an option for you if you can hit the ball like this to left and left center field. So I think it's kind of neat that he's showing that at the same time as a way to avoid Triples Alley, because when Casey's square through the ball, it's usually center field on over. He will dump the ball into right field a little bit, but it's like he learned how to tailor his swing to it, and it showed. But changing the ballpark doesn't change the personnel. None of that changes the personnel. The only thing that changes personnel is more losses.
The personnel.
Yeah, that's literally that's how you fix a baseball team, and it's from the top on down. And this is not to call out Buster, but ownership doesn't give a shit if they're still getting 32,000 fans in the building and charging exorbitant prices for everything that they've got, and the team sucks. Because they're still happy in the end, and they're still making money. There's a reason the Giants are like the 9th biggest payroll still in the league, and they're this bad. So I would think management, I would love, I don't want to say sell the team just yet, but it would be really interesting to see a different ownership group come in and step up with the Giants. Because I'm not sure any of it's going to change until the top changes.
No,
and the fact that,
same names for way too long, in my opinion. Yeah.
And Oracle is now, it's a real estate project with new stuff coming up around it. That's where they're focused. Their focus isn't on the product on the field. And like I said, this is not necessarily a Buster problem. Maybe Buster's hands are tied in ways we don't even know about. So, it's also possible to consider that unless there's change at the top anytime soon, there's not going to be change throughout the organization. I mean, because this team just sucks. They don't know how to develop players. The players that have come up over the last few years, Casey Schmidt and Elio Ramos, are the best of the bunch since Belt, Crawford, and Posey, and even Panic. It's ridiculous that these two guys, and now they're fucking up Bryce Eldridge by yanking him around. They bring up Barracoto, and they don't start him right away. Like, if you're going to bring up kids that you have faith in the organization, you start those fucking guys now. You put them on the field, you make sure they get their reps, and you find out what you have in that person. And the Giants organization just continually, over and over and over again, just shits the bed on how they handle these players. I guess this is totally my rant because I'm so angry at the organization.
Well, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch young kids with talent just get squandered and then end up toiling, on a million different teams, and then their careers never go anywhere. And then you look over at a team that doesn't even have a city. There's not even a city listed under the team name anymore. It's just athletics. And they've got like Kurtz and like all these guys who are like suddenly coming up and the young guys doing amazing things. And you're like, what?
When are we going to get a young guy? Yeah, Logan Webb was our last homegrown developed pitcher who's a stud. Landon Roop can turn into another one of those. But there was a couple years ago, I think, we were doing a live stream on Giants Chat with Bill Lasky, and he repeated the exact same question I have every day. What's the fucking plan? What is the plan? There doesn't seem to be a plan with this organization. And I think until there is one in place, this team is going to continue to toil in obscurity and just be mediocre at best.
Well, the plan, on something that Brian Murphy from KMBR brought up on a morning show about 3 days ago. And, a lot of times, he's a homer, but he's also cynical sometimes. And one of the things he brought up was a comparison to kind of the mid-2000s Chicago Cubs, where they were awful, but they were packing the ballpark. And it gets to a point where, when you're talking about the investors in this club, and the owners of this club, if they're making money hand over fist on the ball club itself, and then all the real estate projects around it, and that's 90% of their income, how much do those people actually care about winning if they're making money? Would they like to win a World Series? Would they like to be in the playoffs? Sure, they would like that, but they would like the money more. And so if they're content with the status quo, because the reality is the Giants are like fifth in attendance right now. They're not doing poorly. Brian Murphy was talking about going out in Willie Mays Plaza, and it was just buzzing with activity during a season where they're horrible. So they're bringing the butts in the seats. A lot of the people who go to Giants games, I don't know what the percentage is, but I'd say a good half or more may not necessarily care about the results of every single game. They want to see them win. That I would guess if we were to go out with a microphone and interview everyone, what's the Giants record right now? What place are they in? Who are can you name 5 Giants? I don't know if many fans could do that right now. I really don't. And that's a factor of more of like affordability and who's going to the games and who wants to enjoy that. But I think it does speak to the larger fact that, if they're making money right now, they're not as motivated as if they were back in their candlestick days when they were drawing 6,000 a game.
No, it's the right now, the ballpark itself is the draw. And it doesn't matter what the team is because it's so fun to be there, right? It's perfect location. The weather is beautiful most of the time, and on a day game, it's buzzing. I went to my first game this year was a day game on a Wednesday, right? And the place felt very exciting, and not a lot of exciting things really happened. But on a Friday night, you got Orange Friday or whatever. Everyone's having their beer and they're chatting and they're making connections and they're trying to pick up girls, and it's a fun place to be, man. And as long as it has that, people are going to go. Also, this fan base historically is kind of like that. We chanted Uribe for years over like a middling shortstop and thought he was the best thing ever. And then now we got young hooligans out there with their stupid hair on for a guy who's hitting 268 and is what, 1 home run? I don't know how many he's got, but it's not a lot. And they act like grandson of the win. And that's all they need to know. You know what I mean? And that's all we really need as fans here in San Francisco. We're not going to boo the guys. I did hear a smattering of boos one time recently. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was the first time in a long time. And if you're in Philadelphia, you're deathly scared of sucking for too long, right?
For sure.
But here, we can suck and we can get away with it. So, the ownership really needs to decide whether or not that's acceptable. It seems like they've decided it is. So, I don't know, man. It's tough out here for people who really care. But we're here. We're not going anywhere.
Chad, you're right. Look at this. They just ticked over 1 million for attendance this year. They're averaging 37,000, over 37,000 a game. For the weekend series against the White Sox, the smallest crowd was 37,524 on Friday. Then they had over 40,000 Saturday, over 40,000 Sunday. They had 38,000 on Monday against the Diamondbacks, which was Memorial Day. That's understandable. And then it fell off down to 32,000, 33,000 the next two nights. That's funny because when they go to Arizona, Arizona's only drawing like 17, 19,000. So this team is still drawing. They're up there. Major league leaders in attendance are the Dodgers, Padres, Blue Jays, Yankees, Phillies, Giants. And the Dodgers make sense because they're the Dodgers. The Padres make sense. They're competitive and their fans have got behind the team. Blue Jays make sense. They were just in the World Series last year, even though they kind of stink right now. Yankees are the Yankees and they're competitive. And the Phillies, that is a good baseball town. And people are showing up, especially because since they played the Giants, they became an actual Major League Baseball team. So I can understand players, fans go. And then they're in sixth. There's the San Francisco Giants with the third worst record in baseball.
Yeah, they have a capacity of about 41,000. So when you're seeing 40,000, 39, 37,000, you're packing, 90+% of the park, which is incredible. And granted on a Tuesday or Wednesday it might be 31,000. That's still, 75% full for a weeknight where kids are going to school and people have work in the morning for one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. So again, I think the owners and maybe not Buster Posey. Of course, he's very competitive. But the owners are like, we're doing fine. Like, oh, no, we didn't have 5,000 extra people on a Tuesday night. They don't care. They don't care.
No, they're in their box seat talking to Caitlin Clark and Brandon Podziemski and just having a blast. You know what I mean? They're just having a beer with celebrities who come and just want the experience. The ball, we did a great thing. We did it. In 2000, we did the thing, and we're done. And now we're like, we never have to be good again. Luckily, we had a little streak there, but we didn't have to, we're still kind of riding that high. But we were drawing before that, after that, during that. We're going to draw. The ballpark, they did it. It's fantastic. If you've been to other stadiums, it can suck, man. I can't believe the Dodgers. People want to go to that stupid-ass stadium. And I know the product on the field is great. But holy crap, I've heard the horror stories getting in and out of that place. Yeah. And we do not have that problem. You just roll up on the bus, you know what I mean? Just cruise in there and hang out and have a beer, and then the bars are open when you leave, and it's happening everywhere, So, yeah, it's frustrating for us, like I said, but go to a game. Have you been to a game this year, Chad?
No, I gotta go, and I was gonna talk to you about trying to go with you.
Let's
really
figure it out.
Because I'm just
You spend your money?
Huh?
Oh, I've taught you nothing. I've taught you guys nothing. I will not spend a dime on this team. There's no way I'm coming to San Francisco this
hilarious.
year. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
I refuse to spend a dime on this team. The seven largest crowds they played
with Eric in Arizona.
Wow, that's funny.
We're jinxes anyways.
That's not how it works.
The biggest crowds they've played, they've played at LA and at San Diego. Those are the biggest crowds they've had. And then the smallest crowd they've had at home is still over 32,000.
So in San Francisco, this is just how it is. Every year, you just go to some games. It's part of the summer, right? It's just whatever. It doesn't really matter what the team's doing. You go to some games.
But it's San Francisco. Go to a museum. Yeah. There's got to be a good concert or an arts festival going on right now.
Yeah, man, we do that too.
Chinatown if they haven't been there yet. Just go do other freaking things. Stop giving them your money.
No, you go to the game, you spend $16 on a micro brew, and then you take pictures in front of the three trophies from a long ass time ago. You chat with your homies. You get a sandwich that's $35. You get some garlic fries, and then you go home. Or you go out to the bar. It's like that's the way. That is just the way here. So it's not going to stop. People are not going to boycott this team. It's not the answer. It's not going to happen. I saw somebody on Reddit who was like, "We need to teach ownership with our money." I'm like, "You're yelling into the void, dog." Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Going to a game is just too fun. It just is.
No, I agree. And, the thing that is weird is that it's one thing to go to the Giants games because of the experience, the tourist attraction, etc. I mean, I don't know for sure. I wouldn't presume that most of the crowd is from visitors coming in from out of town, right? I mean, unless it's against, of course you have visitor, fans, that are really popular. Obviously you have the Dodgers and you have the Yankees and the Red Sox. You see all those fans come in droves. They're coming in from the East Coast or wherever they're from. But, the Brewers or the Cardinals or I don't know, whoever. It just seems weird to me that, we still sustain the attendance from mostly locals who are willing to pay a premium price on this product. And that's what gets me. It's one thing like, if attendance started dropping because of price, they might lower it, but people aren't doing it. And the economy is not great right now. So I guess it's a lot of people who are in the market and they're killing off stock and they're like, hey, we can go to a Giants game. I don't know what it is. It's weird that, the economy and the performance of the team doesn't seem to be affecting the attendance.
I honestly believe that there's a large percentage of San Francisco that is economy proof. Obviously, when the economy is bad, there are people who are destitute and there's poverty. But this city is flush right now. I mean, go walking around. People are still making way too much money in their stupid ass tech job. And you ask them, what do you do every day? They're like, well, I have meetings and I send emails. You're like, I know, but what do you do? And they're like, I make 7 figures. That's what I do. And you're like, okay, cool. But that is San Francisco. It's just how it is, And similar in LA, there's gonna be Skid Row, and then there's gonna be people just making way too much money for whatever the hell it is they do. And so these are places where it's not Cleveland, right? It's not like we need to put a good something on the field and the attendance goes way down, then we can move the team to Florida. I just watched Major League again last night.
Yeah, I love that movie.
We are proof. San Francisco is proof. New York economy proof. LA economy proof. So it's a problem for us, and it's not a problem for Joe Blow who shows up on a Friday night and blows $300. Just not.
The crappy thing is the Giants are about to venture out on this road trip, and they're probably going to get home worse than they were when they left. I mean, yes, 3 at Colorado, woohoo, battle for 5th place. But then they got to go spend 7 days playing the Brewers and the Cubs. They're screwed, man. Like, this 10-game road trip, they might go 2-8. It might be that bad. I hope it's not that bad, but it might be that bad. So it's scary coming up. Webb coming back tomorrow is something to look forward to. But, I mean, if this Colorado series goes south, I mean, how far south will it go? And so, you wonder if maybe the fans will not come back as much after the road trip. But like you said, they're still going to anyway. So we're going to be stuck watching this depressing, frustrating baseball for the entirety of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see anything changing.
I believe you're correct.
But that is a great point. I was looking at that too when I typed in the notes, coming up 3 at Colorado. Exactly. Battle for 5th place. A lot of runs. We'll see what happens there. It's a crapshoot in Colorado. And then you got 4 Milwaukee and then 3 in Chicago. And you're like, okay, out of those 7 games, they'd be lucky to grab 3. But most likely they might grab 2. They might grab 1 in each city. And so if you only have 1 in Colorado because things go south, I could easily see a 2-8 road trip or a 3-7 road trip, and they're just going to keep plummeting. So these are the weird things though that happen in baseball, like they are 4-3 against the Dodgers this year. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, and obviously we can all hope for them performing at least 500 on this 10-game roadie, but it does seem hard to believe that the Giants going to be chipping away at that 12 games under 500 record by going 6-4 or 7-3 on this road trip. It just doesn't seem very likely, and it just sucks. I mean, the Giants are just in, I won't say uncharted territory, but territory that we're not used to seeing. It's just not. It's not what we're used to, and it's frustrating from so many points. But I would have liked to have invested as an owner in the Giants back in I don't know, 2003.
Yeah,
making a lot of money right now. Hell, even 4 years ago,
got a few $100 million laying around.
Exactly.
Yep.
And if I had made a couple $100,000 on my investment, maybe I wouldn't care so much about the Giants' performance on the field, because I'd be like, well, people are still coming and paying their money, and we still raise prices on beer, so who gives a crap? I'm making money. So yeah, it's frustrating. But for us guys who are, really invested in the team emotionally, it's very frustrating, to say the least. And Brian Murphy again brought that up in KMBR the other day. We're getting to the point where we're almost 12 years from their last World Series, guys. I mean, there are kids. If a kid was born the day after the Giants won the World Series in 2014, they'd be almost 12 years old right now. They'd be 11. We would be able to talk to them about baseball. They'd be playing Little League for like 5 years. Like, this is a point where you have to understand that we are getting way past their little dynasty they had, which was fantastic, and we will never forget it, and we will be so thankful for it. And we don't expect the Giants to win the World Series every 3 years. Of course not. But the fact that they have not been competitive, like, at all, but one season in the last 10 seasons, that's the crux of the issue, right? I mean, I don't need a World Series payroll team.
I need a playoff appearance every now and then. You know what I mean? I need to believe. I need a run. I need a run in the playoffs. I need a series win every now and then. I don't need it every year. I don't even like a dynasty has satiated me for a while, obviously. But, and we, what is it, 50-something years before that? Yes, okay. Baseball, it's hard. It's hard to win. But it's just, you can't be competing with the Rockies for last place, man. You just can't. That can't be it. That can't be where the Giants are. I'm sorry. We're too historic of a team. This team is the most wins in Major League Baseball. For how long that will last, I don't know. Probably not much longer. But, with the amount of money coming in, there's just no damn excuse to just be terrible.
Well,
you can be middling.
This is
have bad
trivia. Yeah. This is an easy trivia question, but when was the last playoff series the Giants won?
The Giants won?
2014 World Series.
14, yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Like 2016, they lost to the Cubs. In 2021, they lost to the Dodgers. I mean, that's horrific, guys. Like, I still have that remnant of a feeling of a memory of them doing well in the playoffs, but they have not won a playoff series since their last World Series victory. And that's where you're just like, holy crap, like, that's bad. Guys, we can't live off those memories for this long. This is not where we are now. So, yeah.
Well, especially every single person is gone from that era now, right? So it's like that.
100%.
Like there was still a period where it's like, oh, but Brandon Crawford's still right there, you guys. You know what I mean? And like, and now, no. They're all gone. They're all out of baseball, every single one of them. So it's time to start a new one. It's time to figure this out. And I don't know what the building blocks really are. I don't know if, the plan is Eldridge and Casey Schmidt are the cornerstones.
There is no plan.
There's no plan. There's no plan.
Well, I hope we brought some levity and positivity. Yeah. We did not. Never mind.
We could be 2 years away, though. We could.
We could be 2, maybe 3. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we go. We only have about 100 episodes before then.
We just need something to happen.
I guarantee drive through it.
I guarantee you guys this, though. The trade deadline is going to be interesting, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, agreed.
For sure. All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 339 of the TortureCast. You can follow us at TortureCast on Twitter. Follow us or all of our postings at TortureCast.com, where we put everything. You can follow us individually at ChadK21 for myself, at 2OutHits for Eric. Willie, what's going on with MGA or anything else?
Right now we're in a little bit of we're just in the mid-season, so we're in mid-season form right now. John, my co-founder, won the last tournament so that was pretty exciting. We took some really dangerous photographs on the one highway. I think it was the one next to Medio Avenue, so that was pretty fun. So if you're interested in the MGA, MGAtour.com, check us out on Instagram. It's Mediocre Golf there. Having a lot of fun.
Cool, man. Eric, anything to report?
Stop giving the Giants your money. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think like 5% might do that. It's just not enough, right? Again,
I don't think they'll do it.
Too many people
These
with too
fans-
much money and too much free time. I don't know what it is.
These fans will never boo their team, and they are going to keep coming to the ballpark. And thankfully I don't live there, because the draw for me to go to the ballpark would still be strong if I lived there. It really would. Just like you, I'd want to go to a game for the experience, because it's a Major League Baseball game and stuff like that. So it's a little easier for me to say stop spending your money when I'm, 800 miles away or whatever the hell it is. I don't know how far away I am. So it's easy for me to say, but I understand those of you that are still going to games. So maybe go to the game and buy one less beer. Maybe take a little money out of their pocket instead of a lot.
Just a little bit. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back in a week or two. Until then, maybe go Giants on this road trip. All right. See you next time. Boom.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at TortureCast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.